Pick'em Pandemonium Week 1, a Brash Plus exclusive. Brash Plus, the hottest content at the highest prices. I'm Josh. I'm joined here with Brandon. Brandon, we've got a whole slate of NFL games to get into. How you feeling this week, buddy?
Dude, I'm so fired up for week
Same.
1. And
Same.
we had the kickoff. We're officially 0-1, the both of us, for our week 1 pick'ems, but
tough start.
So is majority of the nation, I have to assume.
Yeah.
Nobody saw the Lions going to Arrowhead and getting that dub. I did say I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. We will break that game down further for our second episode of the season. But for now, it's a Brash Plus exclusive. It is Pick'em Pandemonium, and you're going to get us kicked off here for our early slate of Sunday games.
Well, before we do that, do you want to run back our records from last year? We got it pulled up here.
Yeah, sure.
Week ones are tough. It's official. So I went 177-90 on the year, just picking, not against the spread or anything. And week 1, I was 8-7-1. There was that tie between the Texans and Colts that kind of screwed everyone up. But that's just week 1 is tricky, right? Like if you go 500 week 1, you're feeling good. So what was your record last year?
Yeah, last year was my first year where I actually kept count of every single pick for every single game, and it was a bad year to do so because it was probably the worst year I've ever had when it came to my picks. Starting off with week 1, that was a taste of things to come. I finished 6-9-1, 6-9. Let's just call it for what it is. You can't pick a tie. So very, very bad. And my overall for 2022-23 season was 164-105.
Hey, dude,
Which
not bad. Still, again, way over 500, right? Way over 500, but week 1 got wrecked.
Yeah, my ranking on at least as far as the ESPN world's concerned was 75,301. So
where was I? I was number 3,406.
Damn, you were in top 3,000. That's
just
impressive.
over. I'm top 4,000 or top 3,500.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, those 3,500 people ahead of me, my hat's off to them. Good for them.
Hey, new year, time for a fresh start. Well, let's get this ball rolling, my friend.
Let's do it.
Let's kick things off with a little 2023 Pick'em Pandemonium, a Brash Plus exclusive. What do you got, Josh? What's the first game on the slate?
First game, Panthers are underdogs at the Falcons. Right now, the Panthers' money line is plus 158. If you take the Falcons' money line, you're looking at minus 190. Falcons are also 3.5-point favorites, and their over-under there is 39.5. So Vegas saying, kind of a close game, low scoring. Some key injuries to point out. The Panthers wide receivers DJ Chark is out, and Adam Thielen is questionable. So that begs the question, who the hell is Bryce Young going to throw to? Now, on the Falcon side, their cornerback, Jeff Okudah, is out. And Jonnu Smith, their tight end, is also out. Their Cordell Patterson, their running back wide receiver, who, for the first time in NFL history, has his own thing on the depth chart.
It's really
goes by the Joker on the depth chart because he does everything. He is questionable for this game, so that could be huge for the Falcons, man. Like he returns kicks, returns punts. They'll hand it off to him. They'll put him out wide in the slot. They'll put him anywhere. So I don't know. This game could go either way in my mind. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I look at this one as a straight up coin flip. I know you have some statistics that you want to get to before we officially make our picks, but at first glance, of course, divisional game. Both these teams aren't expected to do much this season, but they have two quarterbacks participating in this one that have a lot to prove to show that they are the quote unquote franchise quarterback of the future. It's going to be a little harder for Desmond Ridder because he had a few games last season, didn't look too good. Granted, I feel like that was a worse overall Atlanta Falcons team, so he should have more to work with. Cordero Patterson, I think he needs to play in this one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They need him as much as humanly possible. You got to have the Joker out there.
Gotta have the
I
Joker.
got to look up that depth chart, right? By the way, to see if it actually says Joker next to his name. I haven't quite looked that up just
Yeah,
yet.
no, I think it says J.
Oh, okay. Well, still, I'm surprised more teams haven't done that. It sounds like something the Patriots would have done, 10 years ago, to just give a player a specific designated new
Right.
position. I didn't know that was even a thing that was permitted in the NFL
Yeah.
with their strict rules. They care about what socks every player wears on the pitch, these days. So, but now you're allowed to make up a new position on your depth chart. So
I think it's probably one of those ask forgiveness, don't ask permission situations. If a lot of teams start doing it and just throwing whatever they want on the depth chart,
true.
the NFL will probably step in. But for now, it's a fun thing. It's cool, whatever. Yeah, a little bit of degenerate data for you. The Falcons are 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 week 1 games. The Panthers are 7-13 against the spread in their last 20 week 1 games, which means a lot when it's a rookie quarterback starting. Unders are 15-5 in the last 20 meetings between Carolina and Atlanta, and the Panthers were 8-4 against the spread as underdogs last season, including 5 out of 6 down the stretch. I know I was hammering the Panthers spread a lot last year because I was high on them. I had them to win the division. And they made me some good money last year. This year is obviously a different story. These stats are going to be hard to really judge, especially when you're looking at 2 unknown quarterbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we like looking at the trends. We follow the trends here at Brash Sports. So with all that said, Brandon, what's your pick? Who do you like in this game?
Week 1, it's tough, as we all know. That's why we're both 0-1 at the moment. But I went with Atlanta here, and I'm assuming Cordell Patterson will indeed participate in this one. Because, again, I think they absolutely need him in their arsenal to get by the Panthers. It's going to be a very close game. I'm seeing whatever I had, what did you say the under was for this one? I would take it.
It's 39.5
under all day. It's going to be surprisingly enough a defensive battle. I suppose not many people would say that's surprising, but because they are in the ATL, and for that reason alone, and assuming Patterson will participate, I'm going with the Falcons week 1 at home to get their season kicked off on the right note. Who you got, Josh?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on the Falcons for this one. If it were in Carolina, I might change my tune, but Falcons at home, they should be solid. A lot of people are high on the Falcons this year. I'm not quite as high as them, and I mean literally high as them.
Yeah.
I think Bijan Robinson, like if he can get going, the Panthers' game plan should be to stop Bijan Robinson at all costs. Because I feel like the Falcons are going to be like, look at our shiny new toy. We're going to run him 25 times. And if they can slow him down, they'll be in good shape because Desmond Ridder beating you through the air probably isn't going to be a thing. And I like the Panthers secondary. So I think Falcons, but I wouldn't touch the spread. And if I'm gun to my head over under, I'm probably taking the under as well.
All right. So there we go.
Yeah, you want to lead us into the next one?
We're in complete agreement in that first game. The second game that we have listed for the early slate of Sunday games would be the Cincinnati Bengals. And they are at Cleveland to take on the Browns. Yet again, another divisional matchup. Cincinnati currently on the money line sitting at a -130. The Browns at a +110 spread. Bengals only by a point at the moment. The over-under is at 47.5. There are some key injury notes to make for this one. Starting off with the defensive end for Cincinnati, Joseph Osai. Is that how you say it?
Osai.
Or is it just Osai? He is officially ruled out for this one. And on the questionable list, we have wide receiver Tyler Boyd and offensive tackle, Deontay Smith. Questionable, but likely. And I would anticipate both of them to have a go at it for their season opener in Cleveland. The Browns, on the other hand, looks like Denzel Ward, the cornerback for Cleveland, he will be suiting up. But safety, Juan Thornhill, he is still listed at this very moment on a Saturday before the official kickoff. He is questionable. But the Browns will need all hands on deck to slow down this Bengals passing attack. I mean, you know, I it's not a secret. I have Joe Burrow as my MVP. My predicted MVP for this season. So I think he's just going to have a fucking year. Get ready for some Burrow. And anybody that's still worried about that minor injury that he suffered during practice, forget about it. This game will show you that this man, he's ready to play and he's ready to win a lot of games for his Bengals this year. Early takes, early thoughts. I know we still have those degenerate stats that you want us to get to, but what's your early feel on this one, Josh?
Early feel, it just feels like a trap. It feels like a trap.
Ooh,
I think Joe Burrow's he's never beaten the Browns or he's only beaten them once. Like, he has a terrible record against the Browns. It's one of those weird situations where sometimes a team just plays well against another team. They kind of figure him out, whatever. But I'm with you. I'm very high on the Bengals this year. The Joe Burrow MVP thing might be a little stretch, but it's certainly in the conversation. Like, he's got to be considered for it. And yeah, I just don't think the Browns have the firepower to match the Bengals. So I do kind of like more of a high scoring game here. I think the Browns fans will be gassed up. Obviously, Deshaun Watson is a big question mark, but if he can go back to like his 2019 season where he threw for 5,000 yards, like if we can get that Deshaun Watson back, the Browns could be very dangerous. But in this game, I don't know. It could go either way. I'm not touching it. Like, in terms of betting, that you can throw any degenerate data at me that you want. I'm probably not touching it.
I'd say history has shown stay away from divisional games week 1 as much as humanly possible for all betting purposes. Our fun stats for this one: divisional home underdogs are 7-0 against the spread in week 1 over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Bengals are 13-4 against the spread on the road in the last 2 seasons, and Burrow is 15-7 against that stinky old spread in that span. Quite impressive. Unders went 5-1 in Deshaun Watson games where he started last season. So,
okay.
With all that said, I knew going into this, of course, we've mentioned this, the end of last season, or actually after last year's Super Bowl when we made our bold predictions. You are not too high on the Bengals this year. You don't share the same opinion as myself when it comes to Burrow having that blow up fucking season and the Bengals, overachieving, as some may look at it. But I have the Bengals winning here. I have the Bengals winning big. Obviously the spread's at 1 point. You can't win unless you score at least 1 point. So, I love the spread. I'm under 47.5 though. I do think points will be tough to come by in Cleveland week 1 for whatever reason. And surprisingly enough, it might not even be in the hands of Burrow. I think this might actually come down to a little Joe Mixon action that puts them over the edge against Cleveland. And frankly, and this is not because of personal opinions I have against Deshaun Watson, I think it's going to be extremely underwhelming. And the Cleveland fans will yet again be putting their paper bags over their head after this game because they'll be thinking, here we go again. Another swing and a miss at the quarterback position.
Wow.
It's going to be a long year for those Browns. Give me the Bengals beating the Browns in Cleveland week 1.
Bengals big then, huh?
What do you mean?
Like, you expect them to win by at least 1
point.
Right?
I say at least. Well, I think they're going to win by at least 13 points.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow. 13. That's big. Okay. 13. I like that. I like the confidence there. But yeah, these These divisional home underdogs make me very nervous. I would not be surprised if Cleveland comes out of here with a win. It would not shock me. With that said, I still have the Bengals. They're just the better team, period. And yeah, I think they do kind of look at it like they have a lot to prove. I'm not as low on them as you make it out to seem. I mean, just because I didn't pick them to win the Super Bowl doesn't mean I hate them. It was 2 years ago. You might be what you're thinking of when I said they'd missed the playoffs right after the Super Bowl, and then of course they made the playoffs easily after starting 0-2 when I got all high and mighty.
Mhm.
Anyway, I like the Bengals this year. I think the AFC is so stacked. It's very difficult to pick anybody, you know.
You do have them under though when we did our over unders last episode, correct?
Yeah,
So
but that's probably because of the division being so tough. And their number was like 11.5. That's tough, man. This division's stacked, and I think the Browns are going to be better than you're expecting. I think Deshaun Watson will be a little better than you're expecting, and their roster's just loaded. So I say look for a close game here, and would not be surprised if the Browns win. But I still have the Bengals in my official pick.
okay, so we're in complete agreement for the first two. Who we got for the third game of the early slate, Josh?
Third game is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. Jaguars, decent size favorite here, minus 225 for the money line. Colts plus 185 for their money line. Jaguars 3-point favorites, and the over-under is at 46.5. And I had to note it opened at 43, so that line's moved a pretty decent amount. Vegas saying, hey, don't sleep on these Colts, right? You would look at this game and expect the Jags to be huge favorites here, considering how well they did last year. They definitely overachieved, and the Colts had the number one pick and are rolling out a rookie quarterback. So this is another one of those games where it is a stinky line. I don't know. Something stinks. This line should be like 7, 8, but it's at 3 because it's a divisional home favorite. It makes me very nervous. Some key injuries to point out. For the Jaguars, nobody significant, so they're fully healthy rolling into this thing. In the Colts, starting running back Zach Moss listed at questionable. Who the fuck is going to run the rock with Jonathan Taylor sitting out, now Zach Moss possibly injured and missing this game? What are they going to do? I guess Anthony Richardson's probably their number one running back, or running option at least.
Deion Jackson, isn't that the guy's name?
Could be. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people are picking him up off waivers right now for anybody that has questions at the running back position on their fantasy team. So
I guess so. I guess if you're really hurting, then yeah, go grab that guy. But yeah, I don't know. That would make me very nervous to have to start the Colts third string running back week 1 already. Like, draft a little depth, people. So with all those key injuries out of the way, Brandon, what's your gut feeling on this game? Because I personally hate this line. I hate this pick. Everything about it makes me feel very weird.
Here we go again, another divisional matchup to kick things off in the season. These always scare me because nobody gives a team a run for the money more than a strong divisional rival.
Yep.
I'm super high on the Jags this year. I thought they finished off last year very strong. I think Lawrence will have a stellar season this year.
Okay.
And I'm not too scared with my bold prediction for this one in terms of, where my gut is leading me. I don't know. I think the Jags defense will be, significantly improved from last season. I mean, look for Anthony Richardson in my book to probably throw at least 2 interceptions in this one. It's going to be a rough start for him, even though he is kicking things off in Indy. I don't know. Early feelings. I feel really good for the Jags, and I think the Jags feel really good too. It's a good way to kick the new season off against the Colts.
Yeah, so some little degenerate data for you. If you're interested in betting this game, which I don't think I would, I probably wouldn't touch it. But the Colts are 1-13-1 against the spread in their last 15 week 1 games, and that's 0-7-1 in their last 8. Jags are 13-2-1 against the spread against the Colts since 2015. Only the third time ever the Jags have been road favorites in Indy. Third time ever in the history of the franchise. They've been around for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
And the Jags are 1-4 against the spread as a favorite under Doug Peterson. So the stats aren't great for the Jags. I mean, I guess 13-2-1 against the spread against the Colts since 2015, but this game, again, something about it just makes me real nervous for the Jaguars. With that said, if you want me to go ahead and throw my pick out there, I went Jags. Obviously, they are the better team. I'm very high on them. I said that they will be the number 1 seed in the AFC. I will quickly change that if they lose this game, but I think it could be very close. I think it could be a very close game, and Anthony Richardson, if he doesn't throw 2 interceptions, like you said, which is very possible, I think that they will. I think they'll keep it close. I mean, I think it stays on the ground, which is why they need Zach Moss. But the Colts are going to want to keep that ball in their hands as long as possible and not let Trevor Lawrence go out and do his thing. You know what I mean?
Give me the Jags plus the 3 points and or with the 3 points and give me the under 46.5. That's where I'm sitting. So I think we're in complete agreement through 3. Is that right?
Complete agreement through 3. No crazy picks just yet. We're sticking with the favorites here, but things could change pretty quickly. What do we got next, B?
Let's move over to this potential trap game for week 1. That would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers headed to Minnesota to take on them Vikings. Bucks money line at plus 192, Vikings at minus 235. The spread currently sitting at a minus 5.5 for the Vikes, and the over under at 45.5 for this one. This is one tricky ass game. But what are you going to do? What are you going to say? They're all going to be tricky. Let's just say that right now.
Yeah, they are. Week 1s, man. They're tough. Again, people, week 1s, tough.
Key injury notes for the Bucks versus Vikes. You got the Buccaneers safety, Antoine Winfield. He will suit up to help slow down Justin Jefferson, but good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
Not many people have fortune when it comes to trying to defend the man, the myth that is Justin Jefferson. And the Vikings, key injury note for them is their outside linebacker Marcus Davenport, who is currently listed as questionable. But overall, Vikings in good health. They are without Dalvin Cook this year, so we'll see how that works out for them. But they tend to move the ball primarily through the air, so I don't think that'll slow them down that much. And early gut feeling, if I'm a Vikings fan at home, I'm feeling really good about this one. Where are your opinions lying on this one, Josh?
Yeah, this is the first one where I really felt confident. I like the Vikings a lot in this game. I'm very low on the Bucks. I think they're terrible. I mean, if you're depending on Baker Mayfield to be your fucking savior, you're fucked as a franchise. So I like the Vikings a lot. I think they could win really big here. The over under makes me a little nervous, 45.5, because I just don't think the Bucks are going to score that many. I could see this being like a 30-10 type game, but yeah, I like the Vikings big here.
So there you go. You made your prediction already. There are no fun stats for this one. We're just jumping right to our predictions because let's face it, on its face, you'd have to believe there's no chance in hell the Vikings are going to kick off the season with a loss against the lowly Tampa Bay Bucks in Minnesota. So I feel really good about the Vikings starting the season off with a 1-0 record. Getting that win against Tampa. I do like the points and over-unders overall for week 1. I tend to shy away from for whatever reason. I think that's a sneaker. I think we're going to see over 45.5. Now, granted, I wouldn't put any money on it for the over-under in this one, but I would give the Vikings 5.5, and I would go over 45.5.
Okay.
So there you go. Little curveball.
A little bit of a curveball there. And yeah, no stats needed, man. Don't go trust your gut on this one.
Yeah.
There's the Vikings are just significantly better than the Bucs.
Just fun stats. They're just there for fun.
They're just there for fun.
So there we go. We haven't disagreed yet.
Yeah. It's
all
making
right.
for a really
Setting
fun,
up for disaster. Yeah.
really fun episode.
Got to start disagreeing here. Let's move right along. What's up next, Josh?
This could be the one. Right now, we've got Tennessee Titans on the road in New Orleans. The Titans plus 140, New Orleans Saints minus 165. The Saints are 3-point favorites in this game, and the over-under is 41.5. No key injuries to report on either side. Both relatively healthy teams. Nobody big missing. No names that you're going to recognize. The Saints obviously added Derek Carr in the offseason, who I like. I think he's perfect for that team. They need a guy to just manage the game, not fuck it up, not be a Jameis Winston and turn the ball over a million times, right? Their defense is solid. I like their defense a lot. I think they're favored to win the division for a reason. I think they are the best team in the NFC South. And I don't have any real strong opinions about this game. I think it's one of those situations where you kind of take that home field advantage and an advantage at quarterback and kind of run with it. But what are your thoughts, B?
Well, there are no key injuries. You are right, but Alvin Kamara will be out. He's suspended for the first 4 games for slapping somebody in the face.
It was he like hit some he either slapped or punched someone like on the Vegas Strip. You know, the place where you're constantly being recorded by video. He decided to assault somebody. So smart guy.
Yeah, he's a bit of a jackass. That's not going to help his team much. They were smart. They did bring in Jamal Williams because he was with Detroit last season, correct? So
yeah, touchdown machine. Vultured all of my touchdowns from DeAndre Swift last year. Still bitter.
Good move. I also think bringing in Derek Carr was a very good move for the Saints. And Chris Olave, expect him to have a fairly good season this year. So, early thoughts, for whatever reason, again, that gut instinct, I'm not high on the Titans, just not high on them overall this season. And especially when you're asking for them to go into the Big Easy and catch a dub against the Saints, very much possible, of course. I mean, the Titans have been more successful in the last 5 years than the Saints. But yeah, I'd be a little worried if I'm a Tennessee Titans faithful going to New Orleans week 1.
All right. Well, a little bit of degenerate data for you. The Titans are 23-14-1 against the spread as underdogs under Mike Vrabel, including 22-9-1 against the spread when getting at least 3 points. However, Tennessee is 1-4 against the spread in week 1 under Mike Vrabel. So not a super strong week 1 team either. And I think, going into the Big Easy, it's the big not so easy because that home field advantage is insane. They're going to be fired up week 1. I think it's a really tough spot for the Titans. So I think, without saying too much, it's the Saints. You go with the Saints here, right?
I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah.
I think I've already shown my cards when it comes to my pick. As far as the spread of -3 for the Saints and the over-under 41.5, stay the fuck away from that. I'm not even entertaining any of those. I just feel like when all is said and done, the Saints will be 1-0 and the Titans will be 0-1.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're doing like a money line parlay, they're one that you can sneak in there and feel pretty confident.
Fair enough. And here we go again. I thought we were going to possibly disagree on that one, but
nope.
Oh no. Maybe this one. This is a fun little one. The San Francisco 49ers, they're headed to Pittsburgh. They're headed to Steel Town to take on them Steelers. The 49ers money line is at a -140. The Steelers at a +118. You'd think it'd be a bit higher than that, but the spread for the 49ers at a 2.5, -2.5. The over-under sitting at a 41 for this one. 49ers will be perhaps without their cornerback Charvarius Ward and tight end George Kittle. George Kittle, of course, would be a huge loss for them if he can't give it a go. Steelers defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi. Is that how you say it,
Yeah,
Josh?
I'm glad you got this game
That's
because that's a name right there.
that's as good as you're gonna get for me. He's also listed as questionable for this one. A lot of Steelers fans, and I know one in particular, are very high on their defense coming into this new season. They feel like they'll be much improved. And as always, home field advantage in Pittsburgh is a big deal, but it's a tall freaking task when you're going up against the San Francisco 49ers, who, at least going off of last season, proved to be perhaps the best defense in the NFL. They have that shutdown potential. In fact, I think they were the only team that held a team to the goose egg last season.
Really?
As far as I know, I could be completely wrong, but I remember they shut out. They did have a shutout, and shutouts are hard to come by these days
Very
in
hard.
the NFL. It's such an offensive league. So yeah, I mean, again, tough order for the Steelers, but what are your early thoughts before we get to our fun stats for this one, Josh?
Early thoughts are that this is another one where the line just reeks to me. The 49ers should be favored a little more heavily in my mind. So when they're not, it makes me think Vegas knows something. And I sniff around and I say, I smell a rat. I smell a rat in this game. Makes me a little nervous here. I really don't know. I think this is one where you could kind of flip a coin. I think if this is in San Francisco, you're feeling real good about San Francisco. And I think since it's in Pittsburgh, it makes you kind of pump those brakes a little bit and say, man, maybe they're onto something here. I mean, the Steelers pass rush is no joke. Brock Purdy isn't exactly a seasoned veteran. I mean, he was the last pick in the draft, for God's sakes. He had a great run last year, but can he continue that into this year? I don't know. They obviously just signed Joey Bosa to that huge extension, making him the highest paid defensive player in the history of the NFL. So the 49ers defense is all there as long as Trevarius Ward plays, because he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league, in my opinion. So I don't know. Flip a coin for this one, in my opinion. Unless you've got some stats that can sway me.
Well, I mean, we do have some fun stats. I don't know how much this will sway you, but the Steelers, they are at 7-1-2 against the spread as home underdogs the last 5 seasons, which I'm assuming you're just referring to. Oh, you're referring to the last 5 seasons as a whole. Okay, well, there you go. Mike Tomlin, 14-5-2 against the spread and 13-8 outright as a home underdog. So, I mean, surprise, surprise. You know me. I love me some Mike Tomlin. I think he's a very good, solid head coach, especially when it comes to the beginning of the year. Pittsburgh 3-0 against the spread in its last 3 Week 1 games. Impressive. San Francisco, on the other hand, 0-3 against that spread. Well. Span. So here you go. Perfect little setup for the Steelers nation. 49ers, they cover 7 of their last 8 regular season games last season. That's pretty good. It's not an easy thing to do, including going 4-1 against the spread in Brock Purdy starts. So with all that said, Josh, where are you falling on this one? It should be an easy one, I think, for a lot of people. In fact, just going by the ESPN pick'ems, 79% of the nation going with the 49ers in Pittsburgh. Who you got?
Well, put me down as part of the 21% that picked the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, because something's up with that line. Something stinks here. I like the Steelers at home. I like the Steelers at home a lot this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they sweep their home games. I don't know who they're playing at home, but if I feel good about them against the Niners, I feel good about them against anybody, and it just feels like a Steelers win here. I like them outright. I'd say bet that money line, plus 118.
Son of a
You went Steelers
bitch.
too, didn't you?
I was really hoping that this would be the one, but it wasn't meant to be. And in fact, there was a small period there where I thought to myself, you know what? I think they're actually, I feel good about the 49ers. And then I had to go back. I had to go back and change it because just something clicked in my head. I'm like, no. And I'm not that high on the 49ers overall. Spoiler alert, we've already talked about that before, but I think it's going to be a surprisingly underwhelming season for them. So yeah, I think the Steelers come out fucking firing on all cylinders. And don't forget, my man, my MVP pick for last season, who unfortunately had an early end to his 2022 campaign, TJ Watt will be ready to go. The man is back, and I think he's the best defensive player in the NFL. Brock Purdy, watch your ass. Give me the Steelers and the over under of 41. You know, I guess I'll go over.
Okay.
You know, I feel confident over 41 for this one.
Man.
I could see that.
I don't know. Gun to my head, I'd probably go under just because it's just two defensive titans just battling it out. But that's also the time when you get the overs and you're like, fuck, man, there's like 2 pick sixes and a kickoff return or something. You're like, God damn it. But yeah, man, this game, again, I think you could flip a coin. And if you're going to get plus money, go with the plus money. Go with Pittsburgh, right? So
Okay.
Again, we're gonna pick every single team the same, and then we're gonna miss horribly.
It's gonna be a disaster.
Building
we are
for
setting
that.
this up.
It is building for that. And then we're gonna head right into one where I'm pretty sure we're on the same page. The Arizona Cardinals, heavy underdogs at the Washington Commanders. Cardinals plus 260, Commanders minus 335. One of the biggest favorites of the week. The spread, Commanders minus 7, and your over-under is 38, a staunch 38. Some key injuries to talk about. Tight end Zach Ertz and wide receiver Hollywood Brown are questionable, but does it really matter? Does it really matter who is on the offensive side of the ball for the Cardinals? But obviously, they need all hands on deck, so I guess it does. And then for the Commanders, Chase Young is out with a neck strain. That guy just cannot find the football field. Got to get him back at some point. But yeah, I mean, this is a tough spot for the Cardinals, going on the road week 1 all the way across the country, playing a team. But what did you say earlier? It's the first sellout in 7 years or something.
First sellout at FedEx Field in 7 years. People are fired up for the new ownership. They have good reason for that. We've been waiting for the day where Dan Snyder would walk out the goddamn door, and that stand is finally gone. So yeah, there's just a overall excitement, Redskins Nation, Commanders, whatever. And it's just again starting anew. I feel like most Redskins fans, Redskins faithful, aren't expecting huge things this year. We've been humbled enough that we understand that it's going to take some time to get back to those glory years. But that said, we are expecting a competitive team for all 17 games. And I think, when it comes to the Cardinals without their star quarterback, I think Joshua Dobbs will be starting for the Cardinals from what I'm hearing. He's like a journeyman, right? He's probably been with a couple different teams. And, of course, we have the rookie Sam Howell getting the start. But, again, it's the overall feeling. And in the locker room, and Terry McLaurin, who has the turf toe, we were a little worried maybe he might not be able to give it a go, but he will. He's ready to go. So Howell will have all the weapons at his disposal, not to mention 2 running backs to hand it off to. So as a Redskins fan, I feel really, 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 really good about this one. Now, that said, the last time we probably stood at a minus 335 against any team, that was probably, you're looking at like 10 years ago. Yeah. So that scares me a little bit, but fuck it. I think, we're the better team. And that's really what this one's going to come down to.
All right. Well, some stats for you true degenerates out there. Since 1996, coaches making their debuts in week 1 as at least 7-point underdogs are 0-15 outright and 5-10 against the spread. We're talking about the Cardinals coach there. And then Cardinals are 10-3 against the spread as road underdogs in the last 2 seasons. They are 12-5 against the spread on the road and 13-7 against the spread as underdogs in that span. So watch out, Redskins. Watch out. You heard it here first. Watch out. But no, in all seriousness, those stats don't sway anything. The Cardinals, I'm picking against them every single week. They're trash. Commanders, look for them to win big here. I mean, yeah, 7 points makes me nervous when you have a totally unproven quarterback, just in general. That's not a shot at the Commanders. That's just across the board. That always would make me nervous. But
Yeah.
the Cardinals are going to be historically bad. They're not going to try to win any games. So therefore, when you have a team that is riding a high and at home, playing a team that wants to lose games, I mean, come on. Lay the 7 points and probably go under 38. And yeah, obviously Commanders win.
Of course, I like the Commanders in this one. My skins. That said, I would stay away from that -7. I personally have this one at like an 8-point victory, which is why I would stay away from it, because I'm not that confident. I think it'll be closer. The final score will be closer than it should.
Oh,
I think the Redskins will dominate from start to finish, but silly little mistakes here and there at the early goings of this season will allow the Cardinals to stay in the game.
sure.
And, so it won't be a complete, just embarrassing loss for the Cardinals. I think that we'll make them feel good about themselves. We might see Hal throw a couple picks. Again, this is his first season opener. The big bright lights shining right in his eyes, and that's why he throws the picks, because he's like, I can't see. So yeah, I
Turn those lights off.
Yeah, why are they so bright? It's day outside. There's no reason for this. There might be some thunderstorms rolling through from what the weather forecast is. Let's see some lightning delays. Get ready for that.
Dude, do we need to add weather to this breakdown?
No, I'm just saying that's the only one I know, because that's the only one I care about. But yeah, give me the Redskins getting the dub. But it will be a lot closer than probably most predict. So there you go.
I like adding a small weather report in this too.
Yeah.
That's
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 tough.
smart.
That's tough.
Oh,
At least
dude.
weather forecast.
I mean, I would just fucking just weather bug it or whatever. AccuWeather. And just get 79 and sunny. Okay, I trust you. I'm not going to be fucking looking at radar for any of these, but dude, chance of thunderstorms could slop it up. I like that under even more now.
Well, we still have no disagreements yet. Again, setting up for complete and utter disaster. Maybe this
This
will be the one. This is the one. You're really going bold here. I'm proud of you. The Houston Texans are headed to Charm City to take on those Baltimore Ravens. Texans at a +360, the Ravens at a -480 on the money line. The spread for this one, the Ravens are at -10 as well. They should be. The over/under at 43.5. Some quick injury notes for this one. The linebacker for the Texans, Blake Cashman, cool name. He, as well as wide receiver John Mechie, excuse me. I've never seen this guy, John Mechie the third. I'm new to this guy. And oh my God, Jummy Ward, who I'm assuming is another wide receiver for the Houston Texans. They're all rolled out. So just when you thought the Texans couldn't afford to have another reason to go to Baltimore and try to win this game, they're without 3 key players there. I mean, I say key players, I have no idea. I haven't really dove deep into the Houston roster, but for the Ravens, tight end Mark Andrews, he was limited in practice throughout the week with a bad quad and questionable at the moment. Cornerback Marlon Humphrey, he is out for the Ravens, so we will not be seeing Mr. Marlon Humphrey on the pitch.
Yeah, they were going to match him up with Jummy Ward, so
so
it's good.
I feel like you threw that in the notes just to fuck with me.
Well, I think I misspelled Jimmy, but that's fine. Jummy Ward
Jummy Ward. It's okay. He always has a spot on BVU.
Yeah, I was gonna say he graduated from BVU, so
that's true. Yeah. Good old BVU alum. I mean, should we just jump to the fun stats and get this one over
let's
with?
Just jump to it.
Not spend too much time on this one. The Ravens 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 week 1 games. They are also 43-0 outright as double-digit favorites in the regular season, which is absolutely
That's
astonishing that
crazy.
you were able to find that stat. Last season, the Houston Texans were 6-3 against the spread as at least 7-point underdogs and 4-1 against the spread as a double-digit underdogs. That is not going to sway anybody. Give me the Ravens all day. And you know what, though? When it comes to the -10 and 43.5 over under, stay as far away
Yeah.
from that as humanly possible, because I am feeling good about the Texans overall this season. I think they'll be much improved. I love D'Amico Ryans as the head coach, but yeah, they're not getting they're not pulling the upset in Baltimore week 1. It's not going to
No.
happen. Ravens a lock for the dub.
Yeah, Ravens money line might be the safest bet of the week. Go figure, it's -480. But yeah, that spread makes me a little nervous. Now I did see this as of this morning, it moved down to 9.5. 9.5 might be a play, but still, anytime the spread in the NFL, especially week 1, is that big, I think you kind of should stay away. And the over under for this game, who the fuck knows what Houston's going to roll out? They could score 27 or 6. I don't know. So we're just going to have to keep an eye. Now, I am like you, I think they will be an improved team. I think they'll be better than last year, but that doesn't mean that I think they're going to go into Baltimore and fucking win. That's crazy. If anybody picks this and gets it right, my hat's off to them, but it's Baltimore all day.
All right, you want to get things kicked off for the afternoon slate of games, because
Yeah.
that about sums it up for a 1 o'clock, and we are in complete agreement. Nothing exciting there.
Something told me that would happen, that we would be in agreement for a
I
lot of
really
these.
thought you were going to go with the 49ers, because I know you're high on the 49ers. I mean, you have them in the Super Bowl this year.
I
So.
have them in the Super Bowl, but this week 1 matchup, man, it made me very nervous. But
Okay.
one that might be the coin flip of the week here.
Okay, here
Green
we
Bay
go.
Packers at the Chicago Bears. Green Bay -105, Chicago -115. So it's basically a pick 'em. The Bears are -1 favorites, and the over-under is 41.5. This game, I have no idea how it's going to go, but let's see if we can suss it out with some key injury updates. Packers wide receiver Christian Watson is officially ruled out. Big loss for them. And the guy on the other side, Romeo Doubs, listed as questionable. So if he doesn't go, who are the Packers going to throw to? For the Bears, linebacker Dylan Cole is listed as questionable. So now that we know that, feel free to change your pick if need be. Yeah, this one, dude, flip a coin. I have no idea. Who is Jordan Love going to be? Is he going to be the guy in the preseason dropping dimes? Is he going to, come up short? I always said that while Aaron Rodgers was going through all the bullshit and giving the old rigmarole to the Packers, like, if Jordan Love was the guy, they would have moved off Aaron Rodgers a long time ago. So I never really had a lot of faith in him. He could prove me wrong this year, but I'm not necessarily going to bank on it. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me get your thoughts before I dive any deeper.
Yeah, no, this one is textbook coin flip. Especially without Christian Watson for Green Bay. I think that's a huge bummer for Jordan Love, because there's nothing more than he would like for this season opener to get the W against their arch rivals in the Chicago Bears in Chicago. But without Christian Watson, who I'm anticipating to be a big, deep threat this season, that's going to be really tough. They're going to have to strongly rely on the running game and Aaron Jones. Has Aaron Jones lost a step? Is he injury prone? He's had some issues these past couple seasons with that. So, I mean, it's weird. I kind of feel for Jordan Love. I think he's being put in a very difficult position for week 1 to, go to Soldier Field. And it's, a lot to ask for him to try to come out with a dub and, without his top weapon. So, if I'm a Packers fan, I'm a little nervous, not going to lie, little nervous.
All right. Well, let's see if I can change your mind with some degenerative data.
Okay.
Matt LaFleur is 8-0 outright outright and against the spread against the Bears. So they have owned the Bears, but now obviously that was with Aaron Rodgers.
True.
Justin Fields is 8-16-1 against the spread in his career, the second worst record among quarterbacks to start at least 25 games in the Super Bowl era. He is 4-8-1 against the spread at home. So not great stats there for your boy Justin Fields. That's right, your boy Justin Fields. And the Bears are 2-10 against the spread in division games the last 2 seasons. So, man, all signs would point toward the Packers winning big here based on that data. What's your pick though? What do you think? What are you leaning toward?
It's a whole new world, Josh. It's time for a change, and that's exactly why I'm going with the Green Bay Packers to get that upset win over, or I guess it's a coin flip win.
I mean, it would technically be an upset.
It's only an upset if you're going by the popular pick, because, just looking at referring to the ESPN pick'ems, the 70% of the nation going with Chicago at home. And I'm going with the Packers, and that's strictly because I am not high. And this might be a mistake. Might come back to bite me because I know they were decent last season. I'm not high on the Bears defense. Again, I might have to eat those words next Pandemonium. I'm fine with that if that's the case, because there's going to be a lot I'm going to get wrong. But I do think Aaron Jones will kind of put the offense on his shoulders for this one and show that he's ready to go, at least for the early stage of this season. And Jordan Love will have some impressive plays, mostly, hopefully, rolling out of the pocket, because that's what they'll need him to do in order to create some opportunities. But I have a very, very, very close game, hence that, spread of -1. I think it'll be a tight all the way to the very end. This one comes down to a game-winning field goal. Give me the Packers on the right side of that game-winning field goal.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, as a prop bet, sprinkle a little bit on whatever the odds are for it to go to overtime, because those odds are usually pretty stacked. I could totally see this being an overtime game, especially because I think it's America's game of the week. So they're going to want that thing to go as long as possible. The refs are going to be nudging it in that direction. So I would do a little prop bet on the overtime. But as far as pulling your wallet out and betting on the spread or the over under or really anything else, stay away.
Don't do that.
But anytime I have a coin flip situation like this, I usually lean the home team. So Bears. And I also like their offense a lot. I think Justin Fields takes a step up. He's got really good weapons. Like if you go by best 3 wide receivers, not just top 2, because obviously I think the Bengals probably have the best 1-2 punch, but like 3 across the board: Chase Claypool, DJ Moore, and Darnell Mooney. Those are 3 really good wide receivers. So I kind of like Justin Fields to have a big year this year, and I kind of like the Bears to win a few games that you're not expecting them to. Now, this obviously they're favored, but I'm pretty comfortable in this pick of the Bears. But also, if the Packers won because they kicked a field goal in overtime, I'd be the least surprised guy in the room. So, but give me the Bears. And finally a disagreement.
Finally, we differ. My goodness. Took long enough, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens on this next one. Yet again, surprise, another divisional matchup. Las Vegas Raiders headed to Denver to take on the new and improved, as many have them listed, as the Denver Broncos, with Sean Payton now as their new head guy in charge. The Raiders plus 148. The money line, the Broncos at -175. The spread has the Broncos at -3.5, and the over-under at 43.5. Seeing a lot of 40, 42s, 43s.
Week ones are usually favor the under. So the Vegas set the lines pretty low this week.
Psycho to be betting on those. But the key injury notes for this one: the Vegas Raiders wide receiver DeAndre Carter, also known as not Devontae Adams, he's listed as questionable. And dude, Chandler Jones, the defensive end, this guy, he's a real piece of shit. He's not going to be playing, and he's showing his ass in the later stages of his career, which is a damn shame, because the guy, he's been a solid player throughout his career.
Been really good.
I believe he's like 33 years old now, and he's just, something's going on. Maybe one too many concussions, but he's completely lost his fucking mind.
CTE is acting up.
Yeah, he's he's just not going to be playing, and Josh McDaniels is saying, he's just chalking it up, or at least relaying to the media that this is due to a personal issue. But come on, we just, I believe they had to send some sort of, this is just a side note, what do they call it? That team that every team has, the people that they'll send to somebody's house if, they're worried that they might be suicidal or something.
Oh, shit.
There's a term for it, and of course, it's not.
We're too dumb
clicking,
to know that term.
Not clicking in the crisis.
They've got a crisis team.
Yeah. No, this is an NFL thing now.
If any team needs a crisis team, though, it is the Raiders. So
yeah,
that makes
so
sense.
they had to send that squad out there to go check on the guy, and of course, he laughs it off, and then he goes on social media and is like, ranting and raving about how, oh, I can't believe that they did this to me. I was outside in my underwear. It's like, you fucking jackass. Shut up.
He does need to shut up. He needs to shut
the
up.
Goddamn game. The Broncos injury news. Wide receiver Jerry Jeudy is listed currently as a game time decision, and Patrick Surtain II, he's been limited in practice throughout the week, but he should be a go come Sunday. So we'll see if we see Patrick Surtain on the pitch. But and by the way, I keep calling it a pitch. Sorry, it's a soccer thing.
Yeah, it's
pitch and field are the same thing, just so everybody knows. So if you want to start using that slang, go for it. You can call it a soccer field or a soccer pitch. It goes both ways. But again, another divisional game. Both teams, I think, very evenly matched. Both having disappointing seasons last year. And the real, thing that sticks out here is a fresh new head coach for the Broncos and Sean Payton, and they're in Mile High, and that is kind of a luck out for the Broncos nation to be kicking things off in Denver. So with that said, Josh, early thoughts.
If Patrick Surtain was out, then I would look for Devontae Adams to just have a monster game. But Surtain's one of those guys you can go, all right, put him on the best wide receiver on the other side and just lock him down. I mean, he's one of probably, or the best cornerback in the league, probably. So it's huge that he is going to be playing. I mean, early thoughts are that, I'm high on the Broncos. I said it earlier this year. I think that they're going to turn it around. I have a lot of faith in Sean Payton, a lot of faith in Russell Wilson. I like how he called Russell out like last week and said, you're not a politician. Stop kissing babies, right? Like, just get in here, focus, and win football games. And Russ knows how to do that. So I think, Sean Payton's going to be the guy now that gets that locker room cohesive, because there were issues last year, but don't think they'll be there this year. So I'm high on the Broncos. Not going to spoil anything with, getting my pick too early, but I'm higher on the Broncos, even though they absolutely burned me last year to a crisp. I'm back on the Broncos bandwagon. Broncos country, let's ride.
Fun stats for this one. The Raiders are 4-0 against the spread in the last two seasons against the Broncos. The Vegas Raiders, they, on the other hand, are 0-4 against the spread in its last 4 September games. Interesting little note there. Sean Payton, he is 2-6 against the spread in his last 8 season openers. Not that impressive. And Denver's last 7 September games have gone under.
I like that stat.
That's an interesting one right there.
This one does smell like an under 43.5. I could totally see that happening.
I'm seeing a low scoring, very sloppy, boring game for this.
Yeah, one. I might sprinkle some shekels on that one.
So, with that said, you want me to go first, or are you going to go first, Josh?
I want you to go first, because I think I know where your head's at.
Yeah, I am very, very low on the Broncos.
Yep.
I, coming from experience as a lifelong Redskins fan, it takes a while to crawl out of that deep, dark hole that is disastrous season. It's not something that just you can come back from immediately the following year. It doesn't matter, if you get the best, if you resurrect fucking Vince Lombardi and have him coach your team. It takes a while to have those guys all gel together. And Russell Wilson, very underwhelming last year, and a lot of it, people were pointing to the fact that he didn't have enough weapons. He had a bad offensive line, this and that. I frankly just think it was, kind of a shock to him, the change of environment, and he wasn't quite ready for it. I do think Russell Wilson will be better this season, but I think his best days are behind him, unfortunately for him. And the Raiders, they got a new quarterback in Garoppolo. I think, he doesn't have to do too much because he's got a guy named Devontae Adams he can always throw to, even if he's covered by 3 different defenders. And then you have a running back by the name of Josh Jacobs, who, by all accounts, is pretty good. So you can hand him the ball or just dish it off to him. Either way,
What an understatement. I love that.
He's
by all accounts, pretty good.
By all
yeah, he's really
accounts.
good.
So I expect, but I just, for whatever reason, I'm pegging this one as a sloppy, low scoring game. I think both teams make some mistakes. It comes down to the final 2 minutes of the game, and I am going with the Broncos to get the win at home.
Wow.
in a squeaker, and it's probably due to a Raiders fuck up. They had a chance and they blew it, and they give it to the Broncos and help that Denver faithful out for that home opener.
That's honestly shocking. I really thought you were going to go Raiders here.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I might have spoiled it earlier. I like the Broncos enough to pick them this week, staying far away from -3.5. In fact, I'm probably betting Raiders plus 3.5 because I do think it's a field goal type game. It just feels that way. Divisional games, week 1, it's going to be close. The under is really tempting right now. I'm probably gonna hammer that. But yeah, outright, I like the Broncos. It could be another overtime game, but give me the Broncos. That's the pick. And moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles at the New England Patriots. Eagles -195 on the money line. Patriots 162 plus 162 as an underdog. The Eagles are 4.5 point favorites, and the over-under is 45. Now, Brandon, if you're like me, you looked at this and said, what? Why aren't the Eagles like double-digit favorites here? They're significantly better. The Patriots are going to be shit this year. What is going on? This is one that smells like shit, and I do not like it. I do not trust this at all. Something's going on. Vegas knows what's up. There are going to be a lot of people diving on that Eagles -4.5, and they might be right. God bless them. I hope everyone makes a lot of money always, but this one is very weird. Some key injuries to report. For the Eagles, not a single human is listed as questionable, doubtful, or out, so they are fully healthy as well. And for the Patriots, running back Ramondre Stevenson missed practice with a stomach bug, but should be good to go on Sunday. Apparently, there's a stomach bug ripping through the Patriots.
Ooh.
So, I don't know. It's like you have a team that went to the Super Bowl. You have a team that underperformed last year, that doesn't have very high hopes coming up. And the Eagles are only 4.5 point favorites. Why do you think that is?
Dude, I was racking my brain. I can't think of a single reason. I got nothing. I mean, what could Vegas be possibly high on when it comes to the New England Patriots?
I don't know. Bill Belichick at home? Like, that's the only thing I can think. Like, the home field advantage, but is it really that much? Like,
yeah, I'm not seeing it. Maybe they're still holding a grudge over losing to the Super Bowl against the Eagles, and it's payback time. I don't know.
Did Nick Foles Eagles Super Bowl win? I don't know, dude.
I got nothing.
I got nothing. Yeah, something stinks here. Let's see if the data can help us out. Since 2000, teams that lost in the previous season Super Bowl are 4-19 against the spread week 1 the following season, and then 0-3 the last 3 seasons. So that could have something to do with it. Bill Belichick is 15-8 against the spread as a home underdog as Patriots head coach. However, last season the Patriots were 0-3 against the spread as home underdogs, and it's 5 straight Patriots Week 1 games have gone under the total. So I don't know, not a lot there to make you really to really explain why the Eagles aren't heavy favorites in this game. But because they aren't is why I'm absolutely staying away from this one. I'm not betting it. I'm not touching it. I could see a really close game, or I could see an Eagles blowout. The only thing I can't see is a New England blowout, but something's up here. And I think on Sunday, people are going to be shocked when it's a much closer game than they expected. Because anytime you see a line like this, Vegas usually knows what the hell is up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go 2 different ways here. I'm staying away from this one for all betting purposes.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this podcast and Pandemonium, I am saying the Eagles win, and the Eagles win big.
Yeah.
And they prove Vegas wrong. I got Eagles winning by at least 20 points in Foxborough and blowing out the Patriots, proving that they are just light years ahead of them. And they are, in my book, the best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
Give me the Eagles winning big in Foxborough against the Patriots. That's
okay.
And that's
Dude,
it.
That should be the case. You're not saying anything crazy. And if the spread were like Eagles minus 7.5, I'd probably agree with you. I'd be like, dude, hammer the Eagles. They're going to dominate. That 4.5 number makes me really nervous, and I don't know why. I'm staying away. I'm not making any bold predictions that either team's going to win big, but the pick is the Eagles. Like, they are not losing this game, I don't think. But again, if the next time we record this, if we look back, I'm not going to be super shocked if for whatever reason the Patriots come out of this with a victory, because something stinks about this line. But I wouldn't bet anything on it, but I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah, I mean, I could see, the Patriots losing by less than 4 points, but not coming out with the win. That would absolutely floor me if that ends up happening. I'd be thrilled because, the hell with the Eagles. But yeah, I got the Eagles just kicking off the year red fucking hot.
Okay.
Let's move right along to the Miami Dolphins, who are headed to LA, La La Land, to take on the Chargers. The Dolphins money line is at plus 135. The Chargers at a minus 160. The spread currently sitting at a Chargers minus 3, over under at 51. I guess 2 explosive offenses, that makes sense, at least if you're going off of the first half Dolphins of last season. The key injuries for this one, lots of humans listed, but only big name worth noting on our end would be Jalen Waddle, who will play and should almost be at full strength come Sunday. And I expect Jalen Waddle to be on the field. I guess they just, they have to list him.
Yeah, he's still questionable, but I think he's almost a sure thing.
And as for the Chargers, there is absolutely nothing to report on their end. So, I mean, if you're a Chargers fan going into this year, I would be fired up.
Same.
I think all the stars are aligning, I feel like, for the Chargers at the beginning of this season. So, especially hosting the Miami Dolphins, who I know had a very good start to last year and then fell off after the Tua injury. But I wouldn't be scared of the Dolphins this year personally, even with Tua on the field. I mean, I think the guy's one concussion away from a coma. So I frankly think he should have retired in the offseason. I think it's silly that he's still giving it a go. Shame on the Dolphins for throwing him back out there. So, and the other Bosa is on the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, sorry, Tua. Get ready to chalk up another concussion. I'm not feeling good if I'm a Dolphins fan week 1 in LA.
Yeah, I mean,
That's my early thought.
I'm feeling good as a Dolphins fan because it's the only week where I'm confident that Tua's healthy coming in.
Okay.
But yeah, going out, I don't know. This is this could be the only time where you come in and going, all right, we've got our squad, we've got our quarterback, we've got a chance. So I think this game could be very competitive. I think it's got fireworks written all over it. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think the ball's going to be going up and down the field. It's going to be like watching a tennis match. It's just going back and forth. So I like the over a lot in this game. I know 51's a high number, maybe the highest of the week, but I like the over in this game. I think you're going to just see a lot of fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of my fantasy team, I hope Tyreek Hill has just a stellar game. But yeah, let's get to the fun stats real quick. How about that? The Chargers, they are at 8-1-2 against the spread in their last 11 week 1 games. That's 3 straight covers in the last 11 week 1 games. Tua, he is 9-5-1 against the spread in his career as an underdog. That's not terrible.
No.
But none of those fun stats change where I am. And again, I can't wait to hear where you are for this one. But I went with the Chargers at home. This one truly does feel like a coin flip, it being a week 1 game. The ESPN percentile there for the nation is at a 52% for LA. And that's where I am. I fall within that 52%. Give me the Chargers as far as the spread and the under over. Again, I am not touching any of that. I like Chargers getting the win against the Dolphins at home week 1.
Yeah, same. I like the Chargers to win here. I don't necessarily trust the spread. I'd probably lay 3 points just because it's only a field goal and they're whatever. But yeah, I really like the over. I really like the over here. I do think it's going to be a very high scoring game. So hammer the over. Don't hammer the spread, but maybe Chargers in a money line parlay because I do think that they will win here.
All right. Are you going to move us right along to our yet again another divisional matchup? My goodness, what is this? Week 18?
Another divisional matchup. The Rams heading up to Seattle to face the Seahawks. The Rams are plus 185 on the money line. Seahawks minus 225 on theirs. The Seahawks are 5-point favorites right now. The over-under is 46.5. Some key injuries. Wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Rest in peace, young man. It's been a fun ride, but this could be the end for him. And the Seahawks have some issues in their secondary. Safety Jamal Adams is out. The guy they're paying way too much money for, who is very good at football. And then quarterback Devin Witherspoon, another really solid quarterback. He's questionable. So, to face all of the Rams' bottom-tier wide receivers, he could be very useful. But no, that doesn't really change a lot for me because I like the Seahawks big here. I think you can probably bet the spread comfortably, and you're over under 46.5. Stay away from that because we don't know if the Rams are going to put up 3 points or 20. But what are your thoughts so far? Initial thoughts on this game. Do you have the Rams? Are you going to bet your life on the Los Angeles Rams right here, right now?
I mean, yeah, on its face, Seahawks kicking off the season in Seattle against the Rams, who had a abysmal, if you will.
Dismal and abysmal. You heard it here first.
A little diz-a-biz, if you will.
Diz-a-biz.
Last year. And that was following a Super Bowl victory. So they just they had the hangover and they felt it good. I do, as previously mentioned in our earlier show this season, that I do have a bounce back year for the Rams. I think they'll be much improved from last season, even without Cooper Kupp, believe it or not. I don't think Kupp will be gone the whole year, but yes, he'll likely be gone at least the first month of this new season. So yeah, on its face, you would sound like a true diehard Rams fan to pick the Rams in this one, because the Seahawks were very impressive last year. You and I both were very low on them going into last year, and we were proven just so wrong. Pete Carroll was laughing and laughing at us the whole way through it. But, that's, on its face, early opinion. That's what I got for you.
All right, well, let me see if I can persuade you at all with some stats here. The Rams are 8-1 against the spread against the Seahawks in the last 4 seasons, including the playoffs. 8-1. Sean McVay is 9-4 against the spread against Pete Carroll. But Seattle has won 4 straight Week 1 games and covered 3 straight. So Rams have kind of owned Seattle in the past, but this is a new year, man. Seattle is really good. Seattle is really good this year. I think that they're going to be challenging the 49ers for the division. I really do. So I'm really high on the Seahawks this year. I was really low on them last year. Now that I'm really high on them, they're probably going to underperform. But I think 5 points, they're going to cover that easily. Stay away from the over-under. Spoiler alert, my pick is the Seattle Seahawks in this one. What is yours?
Don't like the spread, don't like the over-under, but yeah, give me the Seahawks getting the Week 1 win over the Rams.
Yeah, normally for a divisional game, a 5-point spread would actually feel kind of big, but man, that's a really tough spot for the Rams to try and piece together what they fucked up last year and go on the road to one of the worst stadiums to play in as a visiting team. It's tough, very tough. All right, are you going to lead us into the
Here we go. Finally moving into our primetime games, which, of course, as always, is the one that we'll be sitting around. We'll be waiting all day for a little Sunday night, Josh. And
yes,
of course,
we will.
I know you'll be waiting all day for it because your New York Football Giants, they will be hosting the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know why. I just thought maybe the Dallas Cowboys were hosting that one, but shame on me for thinking that. So Dallas headed to MetLife, take on the Giants Sunday Night Football. The money line for that one with the Cowboys is at a -170. For the Giants at a +143. Cowboys spread is at a -2.5. And the over-under is at a 45.5. Quick injury notes for this one. The Cowboys offensive line could be a problem come Sunday night with Tyler and Tyron Smith. No relation at all. They're both listed as doubtful and questionable, respectively, for this upcoming matchup. The tight end for the Giants and Darren Waller, big move getting him in the offseason. He was a late addition or has been a late addition to the injury report with tightness in his hamstring. Watch out for those hamstring problems. You might have to see a specialist. All signs point to him playing, though. I mean, they're going to need him out there for this divisional game in Week 1 against the Cowboys, but unsure how limited he will be. But I'm sure you're feeling really good about seeing Darren Waller out there. I think you should. There's no way he's not going to give it a go.
Yeah. No, but it was great news to see on a Friday night that your number one receiving weapon just pulled a hammy and isn't feeling 100%. So yeah, that was tough to see, but you know what? It's not going to affect me too much here. I'm not going to let that ruin what I think the Giants are building right now.
Okay. All right. You and I already touched on this game a little bit, so I'm just going to get right to the fun stats for this one. The Giants, they were an NFL best 13-4 against the spread last season. Quite impressive. That is also the Giants have 14-5 against the spread, including the playoffs. So, just overall, very good against the spread last year. Good for them, G-men.
People were sleeping on us, man. They were sleeping on us.
Over the last 2 seasons, unders are 30, 10, and 1 in primetime games when the road team is favored. That's interesting little note right there. And divisional home underdogs are 7-0 against the spread in Week 1 over the last 5 years. So I think you know where we're going with this one. Now, cats out of the bag.
Yeah, if you listen to the season premiere, we're both kind of low on the Cowboys, and it's not just because we're haters. We are haters, just certified through and through. But dude, Dallas just feels like it's one of those teams that they kind of peaked and they didn't do enough when they peaked, and now they're going to be on a downward slide. That's just the gut feeling to me. I do think their defense is going to be very good. They're a top 10 defense easily, possibly top 5. But something about the Trey Lance signing and Dak Prescott getting on in years just kind of feels weird. CeeDee Lamb, can he stay healthy and can he keep up the production that he had? They got rid of Dalton Schultz, who was kind of that part of that trio of tight ends that they really depend on when you need just a couple yards on third down. So not super high on Dallas. And I do think the Giants have been feeling the disrespect all summer long. I mean, they went and won a playoff game last year and are widely picked to miss the playoffs this year. They've been hearing the chirps. They've been hearing it. They are going to have that chip on their shoulder. They're looking down the schedule. They know they need to win this game because week 2 they get the Cardinals. That should be an easy win. But after that, we got to go like on the road to San Francisco and Seattle. And we got a lot of weird road games. Our schedule kind of sucks after that for the next few weeks, playing the Bills on Monday night. So they know that this feels like a must-win game for the Giants to really cement what we're going to do this season. So I'm picking the Giants, and I'm taking them with the spread. I'm taking the money line. I like the under in this game. Honestly, I think if Dallas is having O-line issues, our D-line is fucking solid. So I like the under. I like the Giants. Shouldn't be a shocker, but I think this is a must-win game, and it's a statement game, and we got to have it.
I'm taking the under for all NFC East matchups this year. I think they're all just going to be grind them out defensive battles through and through for every one of the participants at the NFC Beast. But for this one, when it comes to the winner and the loser, yes, give me the Giants getting the win at home to kick the season off. I'm very low on the Cowboys this year. I think 500 is the ceiling for them this year. That's the best that they can possibly hope for. But I see them finishing underneath that. Unfortunate for those Cowboys faithful, but sorry. I just have a feeling that after this season, I said it before, that they will be calling for Jerry Jones and his old ass to sell that team, try to get a fresh start, kind of like what the Redskins are doing this year, or the Commanders, depending on how you look at it.
That is never going to happen. They're going to bury Jerry Jones under that stadium, dude. He's going to die with that team.
I mean, they could still bury him under the stadium. When that time comes, the time comes.
Sure. All right, well, let's round it out with a Monday night party.
Let's do it.
Bills taking on the Jets. The Bills minus 145 on the money line. The Jets plus 122. These New York City teams just feeling the disrespect here. The Bills are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 45.5. The key injuries, the Bills, no future Hall of Fame pass rusher, Von Miller, but otherwise the team is healthy. And for the Jets, both Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook are expected to play Monday night after limitations in practice. I know they're trying to take it easy on Breece Hall as he rehabs that ACL. But great that they brought Dalvin Cook in, because what an amazing backup to have, right?
Yeah.
This game, very interesting. I could see it going either way. Brandon, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, early thoughts are, what a great way to kick off Monday Night Football in the regular season. I love it. I have to say in the regular season, because now they're throwing Monday Night Footballs in preseason for some stupid fucking reason. But yeah, I thought, I love the matchup. Now, it being September 11th, I thought maybe this would have been a better spot for the Redskins and Giants, a little DC, a little New York. But, instead they threw in two New York teams, even though a lot of people consider Buffalo more of a Canadian team than a New York team. But yet again, another divisional matchup. Should be this one 45.5 over under. I love the over in this one. I think a
Mm.
lot of points will be scored. And Bills at a -2.5 going into that. I think that's warranted, given the just the past 3 seasons and how these teams have fared. So, betting. I'm scared of this game because I do think it could go either way, but I do think there will be some slight growing pains for the newly acquired Aaron Rodgers for the gangrene. That's just me. I think it'll take us some time to gel with his new offensive squad.
No, that makes perfect sense. There's no reason not to assume that. Let me see if I can sway you with some data here. Aaron Rodgers is 6-1 against the spread and 5-1-1 outright as a regular season home underdog. And unders in Bills road games went 7-1 last year. So some stats favoring each side there. This is a tough one to pick, man. This was maybe one of the hardest games for me to pick because every time I want to lean towards the Jets, there's a million reasons to go with the Bills, and every time I go with the Bills, there's reasons to go for the Jets. I'm higher on the Jets than I am the Bills this year. So let me get your pick real quick before I reveal mine because I think I know where you went, but I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I'm going with Josh Allen and the Bills. I think that at the end of the day, they will be more prepared for this game because it's week 1 and because Aaron Rodgers, again, he'll have to learn his new team. And there's going to be, expect some drop passes, expect some missed routes run by those receivers or tight ends for the Jets. Expect some false starts for the Jets. I just think there's going to be some growing pains there. Yes, I think Aaron Rodgers, of course, is a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. And eventually they will start clicking, when you get into the thick of things this year. But early goings, I think it'll be a bit disappointing for the Jets fans, and they won't get exactly what they probably have expected week 1. And the Bills just proved to be, at least week 1, just the overall more prepared team, the cleaner team. And I'm going with the Bills. I do think it's going to be high scoring. I do think it could come down to the wire. Even saying it, there could be some ugly aspects of the Jets play, but the Bills have been known to make some silly mistakes themselves. So they usually wait until the playoffs to start doing that. But yeah, give me the Bills getting the win against the Jets for Monday Night Football week 1.
So complete disagreement with you here.
All right.
For one, I think this has the under written all over it. And here's why.
Ooh.
You have 2 mediocre at best offensive lines and 2 of the best pass rushes in the NFL.
This is true.
So I think both quarterbacks are running for their lives this week. I think it's going to be very hard to get the pass game going. I give the edge to the Jets because I think they have a better rushing attack, and I think there's going to be a lot of ground and pound this game. So I like the Jets to win. I like them outright. I'm taking the spread. I'm taking the under. And I like the Jets to have a statement game. Both New York teams, statement games in prime time. I like them both. The Jets are going to set the tone with the Bills this year. It's a down year for the Bills. It's a above average year for the Jets. I'm not quite as high as I was like back in February when I proclaimed that they would win the division. I don't think it'll be that easy. But the Jets have a statement game here. I think that they win. And I like him outright. I like him with the spread, and I love the under. I really love the under. So I do not see it as a high-flying, back and forth game. I like it as a defensive battle, quarterbacks on their asses all game, ground and pound type situation.
Well, there you go. There you have it. Out of 16 pick'ems, you and I have agreed on 2. So keep a close eye.
Disagreed.
Or I said agreed?
Yeah.
We have disagreed on 2. You have the Jets, I got the Bills, and then you had the Bears, and I have the Packers. So
yep, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, should be close games. for both of them, but we
Mhm.
shall see what happens. Hopefully, it's not a complete and utter disaster for all the ones we agreed on. But if you know anything about the NFL, there's a good chance of that happening. So
Oh, it's gonna be a disaster. There's no
we
doubt in my mind.
we are running short on time here, Josh. We have to move right along to our brash parlay.
Say make money, money, make money, money, money. Make money, money, make money, money, money.
Yes, Brash Parlay this week. Very exciting week ones. You never really know what to expect. With that said, I'm looking at our picks and I'm absolutely loving them. So why don't you kick us off with your favorite for the week?
Favorite, I'm going with the Washington Commanders, commonly referred to still as the Washington Redskins, money line against the Arizona Cardinals at a minus 320. Give me the Redskins again comfortably at home against the Cardinals.
Yeah, love that pick. Just rewind the video if you need to see
There you
an
go.
explanation on that. My favorite, Ravens money line, minus 450 versus the Texans, free money.
Love it. Love it. Coin flip time. I went with the Minnesota Vikings at -5. That's right. Vikings and the points against the visiting Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So
Yes, love that
Vikings
one.
and the points.
Love that one. And maybe my favorite coin flip of the week, I'm going with Seattle minus 4.5 at minus 115 versus the Rams at home. Again, I rewind if you want to see why, but I love the Seahawks this week.
I apologize. I left out the odds for that one. The Vikings with the points is a -110.
It's a coin flip.
Yeah,
I mean, it should be pretty assumed. Yeah, coin flip.
Underdog time. Underdog. I'm feeling a little confident. It might just be the burgundy and gold running through my veins, Josh. But I'm going with Sam Howell going over a touchdown and a half, which is at a plus 135 against Arizona. So yeah, 2 out of the 3 with my team. Dangerous. You never want to. Because if this fails, if the Cardinals win and Sam Howell looks like shit, I'm going to completely blame myself. It's because of me that they weren't able to perform on the field. But fuck it. It's going to happen. So, yeah, Sam Howell, at least 2 passing touchdowns against the Cardinals.
Yeah, Brandon, you never want to pick your team that much in a parlay situation like this. You're setting yourself up for failure. What were you thinking picking your favorite team? For my underdog, I'm going with the Giants money line plus 150 at home against Dallas.
Nice.
That's just free money. They are printing money, and you can go pick yours up by betting the Giants money line on Sunday night at home against Dallas. Don't miss out.
Well, there you go. There's the Brash pick 6 for you. The total odds brings us to, and this is through Barstool. Just again,
this is a Barstool, not a sponsor, not a sponsor,
not a sponsor, not a sponsor, not a sponsor. But the Barstool odds bring us to a plus 3,018, with $1 a piece for each one of our 6 picks. That brings us to a $6 bet, paying out $187.06. So that's reasonable. It's doable. Okay?
That's doable. That's gonna, chip away what it takes to bail you out of jail after the Cardinals beat the Redskins this week because you jinxed the shit out of them.
Well, if I'm jinxing the Redskins, then you're jinxing the Giants. So we'll see what happens.
But that's not how this works.
Damn it. All right, buddy. Well, hey, I got to take my dog out before he shits all over the house. And I'm looking forward to it, man. It's about damn time. Week 1 is here. Time.
God, it's the best week of the year, man.
Let's get it started.
I can't wait. Let's fucking go. All right, later, buddy.
All right. Peace.
To Brash plus Pick'em Pandemonium week 1. I'm Josh. I'm joined here with Brandon. We've got a whole slate of NFL games to get into. And why don't we just I don't know. That didn't feel right, dude. I'm gonna cut.
Right.
We're cutting.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. 15 20. Let's give it a little time.
I just realized, I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Well, yeah, Brash Plus exclusive.
Yeah.
Pick'em Pandemonium.
Pick'em Pandemonium, a Brash Plus exclusive.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
was rough.
it's okay.
Delete that. Delete that. Delete that.
Make sure that never sees the light of day.
Never sees the light of day, dude. I'll be chastised for the rest of my internet career.